Hi friends, welcome to Hi friends, welcome to Chelsea Reads, where we get to live vicariously through other people's drama. I'm trying something a little bit new. I thought maybe trying some on-camera content would be kind of fun. Try something new, why not? I'm a little awkward right now, but we'll see how it all goes. I've got a lot of little things going on here. I got my computer recording, got my microphone right here, the camera, of course. Very hand gestury, so autofocus is gonna have a fun time with that. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments and everything. If you like this on-camera content, if you like it better with the other videos, we're trying new things. We're throwing noodles at the wall. So today we're gonna be exploring r/NiceGuys. So let's dive in and see how those stories go. What does Reddit have for us today? Okay, so this post is titled, "A lot of men see how good men are treated in society and say, yeah, I'd rather not go that path. 45% of women single and childless by 2030. The number of single women is expected to rise 1.2% every year. Guys, ... This is sad. I'm on dating subreddits, and the amount of femcells, the amount of women 25 and up that are virgins or have never had a boyfriend or long-term relationship is rising. Now, I can't say this is because they are feminist. However, I will say the effects, all caps, of fourth wave feminism have destroyed dating and even familial roles." Yeah, because, women finally having the option to choose for themselves and determine who they want to marry, and the fact that they don't have to have a man to vote or own property, totally destroying the familial roles of women. Totally. Can you tell how sarcastic I am? Men aren't courting women as much. Men aren't marrying women as much anymore. A lot of men are seeing how good men are treated in society and say, yeah, I'd rather not go that path. It ponders me. Yes, quite. Whenever I see the feminist subreddit talking about the, quote, male loneliness pandemic, when the same exact thing is happening to women. What time in history, all caps, have we seen where women cannot find partners, get married, or have kids? And then to counteract that, many of them cannot find a man. They default and say, we're fine being alone, and alone by choice. Many people are alone by choice, And many people are fine alone. Although in this economy, I truly believe this is the first time in mass men are opting out of long-term commitment with American women at the very least. It's shocking. It's shocking to me how entitled you feel like you are to women. And there is a loneliness epidemic among women and men, but it has less to do with women's rights than it has to do with this, than it has to do with the fact that there's so many people out in the world and we're all disconnected and everything's so expensive. There is no safe third space where people can go and meet people in fun environments and stuff like that without spending a bunch of money. Not everybody likes to go out to the bars or the club or something like that. The third space being outside of your home and outside of work. Like in Cheers. Cheers is a good example of a third space, even though it is a bar. But it's that's how people generally meet each other. They're pursuing hobbies or pursuing things that they like. They can meet each other in person, but it is harder for that because of how expensive everything is nowadays. The fact that a lot of people, especially younger people, meaning under 45, it's harder for people to go out and spend money and meet people. I don't know what I'm saying, but anyway, there's comments on this. So someone says, women can find partners very easily if they wanted to, but they refuse to look at average guys who are objectively reasonable. Instead, they want to hold out for the top 10%, and then when they cannot get a relationship, they complain, where are all the good men? Interrobang, ... But I have no sympathy for that. Of course you don't, because you consider yourself an average-looking dude, but what have you done to contribute to society in a way that makes yourself seem attractive and makes yourself seem appealing to women? Are you just out there complaining on the internet all the time, or are you actually going out and interacting with people? you know? And in what spaces are you actually interacting with those women? And are those interactions invited? Those are all questions. That is true. Women don't seem to understand that they're supposed to be the pretty ones. What? I guess, like, that a lot of women do have beauty standards and stuff, but people are people and not everyone has the same style. And that's kind of the beauty of society and people and stuff, is that there's so many different kinds of people. And, you know, there's not any one-to-one of, like, how a woman is supposed to dress or anything like that. This isn't the 1950s, you guys. There's a reason why we've moved on from that type of dynamic. Anyway, so they continue and they say, they expect men to be the pretty ones and also the providers. If that's the case, what is it that we get out of the deal? A life partner, someone who you love and trust, like someone who you can get along with and confide in and love and build a family with. If that's what you want, that's what you get out of that. Dating today for a man that's established feels like women are trying to take advantage of you. Yes, all women, we all have this hive mind and we're all trying to take advantage of you, OP. That's what we're trying to do. Incredible how few make themselves look halfway decent in public anymore. Pajamas and Crocs aren't exactly appealing. Yeah, God forbid that a woman actually wants to be comfortable when she's just running out to the grocery store. She's not dressing like that for you. She's dressing that way for herself. Women are allowed to exist and be comfortable. That's how entitled they are. They think they're entitled to a good man regardless of how they look. Because it's all about looks. It's not about your intelligence or what you bring to the table or anything like that. You know, it's not about your personality. It's all about your looks, ladies. So, you know, keep that in mind. You know, if you're looking for a man, it's all about the looks, apparently. I mean, looks definitely play a part into it. You know, people are visual creatures and, you know, you see someone who's attractive and you're like, oh, hey, that person's attractive. And then you want to kind of know them more or something like that. But it's not the end all be all. But there's plenty of beautiful women out there who are crap at relationships because they are kind of crap people and they've got crap personalities and they do take advantage of people around them. And that's not the type of partner that you want, hopefully. If you only care about looks, then you're kind of going to get whatever's associated with that package, you know? These people, these guys don't seem like that they've really interacted with women outside of the internet or school or work. And even then, it's probably that their interactions are pretty limited. I don't know if they've ever, the way that these guys talk is just they've got all these opinions and I'm like, do you have the life experience to back that up? I'm not sure if you do. All right, so this post says, I guess I was too nice. So nice guy, it's a short one. He says, I tried to befriend 2 girls on Reddit and offered that we could meet if they feel comfortable. Got thenga soon. What's thenga mean? I don't know what that means. I guess I was too nice. Does that mean blocked? That's thenga. Okay, I'm not finding anything for what thenga is. It looks like it's something that repurposes coconuts. I'm going to assume that that was like a misspelling. But just as a piece of advice to guys out there, yeah, most people don't really like to get hit on Reddit. So kind of maybe not the best platform for that if you're looking to hook up with someone, you know? All right, so this post is titled, He's a really great guy in every way. Girl, run! Let's see what this is. I just dumped a really sweet guy and I'm heartbroken. I have to turn it like this because it's really, there we go. I can actually see it now. Well, you can't. I can though. It was very small text. I, 28 female, know I made the right call, but he was genuinely a good man. Kind, funny, handsome, committed, intelligent, hardworking, helpful around the house, and more. I thought about giving us a second chance so many times, but I knew that would just make it worse in the long run. We met on a dating app, and there were some initial hurdles. We're different races, different religions. He's Hindu and I'm atheist, and his family is much more conservative than mine. Neither of us cared about these differences, though, and we dated heavily for a month. By heavily, I mean he told me he loved me on our third date. Oof. I met his family, and there were talks of marriage. The romance was a whirlwind, and for a second there, I thought I'd actually found my man. That's called love bombing, honey. That means when they just inundate you with romance and they're like, oh my gosh, you're the most amazing person ever. You're the most beautiful woman I've ever met. And all of these things that just make you feel like you're $1,000,000, you know? And it really does kind of like lull you into this false sense of euphoria. But then what happens with love bombing is that after all the love goes off, they start kind of getting tired of you, and then they start like blaming you for everything that's going wrong in their lives. So it's like, you're the most beautiful woman I've ever met one day, and then, God, why do you always walk around in your pajamas all the time? Like, you used to put in so much effort, you know, like, where's that woman? I thought that you were so amazing, and blah, blah, blah. What's wrong with you? And they make me feel like crap. And that's what love bombing is. It's kind of like the turn in a poker hand or something like that, you know? And it's not the best metaphor, but I think it kind of works. All right, so she continues. But that's the problem with rushing into things. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Sometimes you get caught up in the excitement of a happy relationship that you fail to realize that you two aren't actually all that happy. We argued almost every time we hung out, usually men versus women, for some ungodly reason. Because he's a misogynist. I don't know what he thought he was going to accomplish by constantly telling me how easy women have it, but what he did accomplish was pissing me off. Yeah, that's an easy way to get that accomplished, pissing them off. But yeah, you know what he was trying to accomplish? I'll tell you right now. He was trying to accomplish negging you, making you feel bad about yourself, lowering your self-esteem, so that way you just feel like that you can't do any better, and he's the most wonderful man you're ever going to get, and you're going to overlook his problems, his big red flags, because he's brought down your self-esteem so much. That's kind of like negging and the other side of like love bombing. I actually agreed with him on some points, funnily enough. Like I said, we met on a dating app, and I know from talking to my guy friends that even getting a single match as a man is a Herculean feat. And if you do get a match, you'll generally text for a couple of days only to get ghosted. That happens to women too, honey. Oh yeah, women have it rough too, so she knows. Women have it rough too, of course, and with D-pics and threats of creeps, but I'd rather wade through a sea of rude men than get nothing but radio silence. If he'd left it at that, maybe we could have worked it out, but he was relentless, almost obsessively so. On our first date, he told me, quote, "Women only pursue the top 10% of men," to which I said, then why am I on this date with you right now? Neither of us is top 10%. We're regular people looking for a regular relationship. He'd also bring up the quote fact that women only date men who are over 6 feet tall, ... Yeah, I'm taller than him by several inches. Whenever he'd do this, I'd gesture between us and say, what about us? What about me? I'm right here just proving all these, quote, facts about what women want. Then he'd tell me that I'm obviously an exception. Parenthesis, ladies, I'm not like other girls, apparently. I swear, sometimes it sounded like he wanted dating to be hopeless. Yeah, because then it feeds into that, trying to think of how best to phrase it, but it's affirming for him. It feeds into his already established beliefs and everything. So yeah, he does want dating to be hopeless because then that makes him right, and he'd rather be right than happy. A few days ago, I decided I was going to break up with him. He left for a week-long work training today, and my original plan was to break up with him when he got back. We weren't going to be able to see or contact each other while he was away/busy, so I figured after a week apart it'd be easier. I was going to tell him we're not quite right for each other, and it's no one's fault. It's better we figured it out now before we wasted months or years of our lives on a relationship that's close but just shy of perfect, or worse, got married only to realize it's not working. And that's really smart. I mean, they've only been dating a month. That's why people date around, to see whether or not you're compatible with each other. Well, that all went to crap when we were at dinner last night. He again brought up how life is so much harder for men than women. I admit it. I effing snapped. We started arguing as we drove back to my house, and by the time we got there, I told him to leave. It was ugly. He cried. I cried. He begged me to let him stay and to just come cuddle with him and let this blow over. I was tempted, because he really is great in every other way, but as the person with more relationship experience, I knew what I had to do. I said, one of the reasons why this sucks so much is because you and I are almost right for each other. If I were 5 years younger, I probably would have stuck it out with you. I've known people who stayed in so-so relationships for years because there were just enough good things to balance out the bad. But I'm a grown woman now, and I can tell when something isn't quite right. And that, my friends, is why men say, oh, women over 25 are expired. Oh, I only want to date a virgin. They say that because they want to take advantage of women who are inexperienced. Because they know that women who have more experience aren't going to put up with crap. I also said something along the lines of, you keep saying I'm the exception to all these rules about women, but what happens when I stop being the exception? What happens when I do something you don't like and you decide that I'm exactly like other women, actually? He argued with me, but when I asked him point blank if he thought I was wrong about us being close but not quite right, he admitted that he agreed. Then he packed up his stuff and left. To make all of this worse, I was his first everything. His first kiss, his first intimate partner, his first real girlfriend, the first girl to meet his family and spend the night, which was a huge deal, all of that. And now I've broken his heart. He sent me a really sweet goodbye text saying he's glad I was his first in so many ways and that he wishes me well, and I feel like a monster. I can't help but wondering if I did the right thing. Oh, I mean, it's sad. It is sad for him and the fact that, like, yeah, he had what he thought was a really great thing, and then it didn't work out. But that's kind of like what happens when you belabor certain points and ideas that really aren't realistic or factual or anything like that. Like, all the stuff he's saying, these are, I don't know, like, I don't know if straw man is the right word for it, but they're kind of like straw man arguments. They're creating this false idea of what a woman is in a very generalized sense, and then they're using that as like, this is 100% fact, and that's just simply not true. And that's what happens in these kind of incel type communities, is that these guys just start feeding each other the same rhetoric and, oh, this was my experience, or this was the experience of my friend, blah, blah, blah. And then all you're getting is this kind of confirmation of these ideas that they already have, when really some of those people may be lying. Some of those people could be exaggerating the situation, not taking accountability for how the woman actually felt. It just ends up kind of creating this loop of confirmation of false ideas. And because people who actually do get out there in the world, men who get out there in the world and they start dating and they find somebody who they really like and everything, they're not going to hang out in those communities. They're just not, because they're too busy being happy, And so it's like they're not going to be participating in that community because they're busy living their life and surrounding themselves with people they love and building an actual foundation or relationship. And so you're not going to hear those stories in those communities. I would say that, like, this girl is too sweet for her own good, because she has such a big heart and she wants to see this person succeed and be happy and everything. But she was smart in the sense that, she didn't let her sweetness overrule her practicality, which, as a person who's been told I'm very sweet, it can be very easy to do, to kind of like let certain things lie because you want to give someone the benefit of the doubt. You let certain behaviors pass as acceptable because you don't want to upset the other person. You want to see them grow and you think that you can help them. And that's just like not always the case. All you can do is really kind of lead by example and lead your best life, And yeah, this woman did prove that she was the exception to this guy's ideals and everything, to his thoughts about women. But at the end of the day, he's not going to learn that lesson, unfortunately. He's going to take it to heart that he was right, that this woman who he thought was the exception just ended up breaking his heart. I give him props for being sweet at the end and not going the traditional nice guy route of like, oh, well, screw you. You're just like all the other girls and, you're just a hoe or whatever, which is what a lot of them end up doing. So I give him that credit. I hope that he will take it to heart and learn that lesson, but they don't always do that. They don't always do that. And unfortunately, it's probably not going to be the case in this case. So, yeah, she's good for getting out of it, but oi. That was a tough one. That was a tough read. But yeah, so I hope that you guys like this content and everything. I hope that it wasn't too awkward. Give this video a little like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. This part's always the hardest for me, doing the outros. It's always the hardest because, you gotta beg for the likes, you gotta beg for the subscribes and the shares and all that stuff, but it just is like so not natural. It always feels super awkward, and thus the awkward laughter. So, yeah, let me know if you enjoyed it. I hope that you have a wonderful day. I really, really appreciate you for watching and engaging and everything. And as you go throughout your day, please remember to be kind to other people and be kind to yourself. Talk to you soon.